Welcome back for round two.
Thanks.
Yeah,
good to be here, man.
Yes,
it's always
I
good
love
to see you.
Dude, and like we said, it's almost been a year out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, part of it seems like it's been 3 years, and part of it seems like it's been 2 months.
I know. Yeah.
Time flies.
Well, look, I mean, the last episode was awesome. I heard, your journey, law school and Mexico and
Yep.
beer company and
Yep.
failure to launch and
Yeah.
now real estate.
Yeah.
Right. But what I really liked was you were talking a lot about your marketing. Like you dive into marketing pretty deep. And,
Yeah.
but you keep it very simple. But what have you been seeing over the last year or so that has anything changed in marketing or how you're marketing?
Yeah, I think the biggest change that I have seen is AI related. I mean, everything is AI now. I've been to a number of conferences in the last like 6 months, kind of like invite only type conferences within real estate, and 80% of everything that is discussed in these conferences is AI.
Okay.
And so much of it is marketing related, right? Our businesses as real estate agents, as lenders, is staying in front of people, getting in front of people. How can we simplify it? How can we amplify our voice? How can we get out there? How can we interact with our audiences better, with our people better? And so there's technologies from my side of it, where it's like you can enhance listing photos. You can take an exterior photo, run it through AI, and put like a killer sunset in the background.
Wow.
Right. But it is like we're at the top of this wave that is about to break. I mean, there's so much AI out there. When I've been at these conferences, what's interesting is I have like the Super Daddy Chat GPT version. It costs me $200 a month. Like I get access to a bunch of stuff. And so Chat GPT knows me as a human being. It knows me as a business owner. It knows how I run my business. It knows what my staff allocation is. It knows how I market. And so when I'm at these things, I'm plugging into Chat GPT. Hey, what about this technology? What do you think about this? Will this work for my tech stack? Da, 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 da. What I find is Chat GPT is pretty agreeable. Yeah, we can make that work.
Yeah.
And it'll like tell me how to make it work.
Yeah.
But then I plug it in, we play with it, and I'm finding that it's AI overload. So many of these platforms too are like white labeled. They're in one technology, but they're white labeled with their branding. And you implement, you try, it's like, man, this is complex, or it's expensive, or it's not doing what I want it to do. Some of it, maybe if I had a long run with it, maybe I could massage it to the point that it works. But I think what we're going to see is a lot of AI solutions coming out that bog us down, that we try to implement, that may not work, that take us away from human interaction, and that we eventually are going to see either just disappear, or they're going to get, the good ones are going to rise to the top and get bought by the bigger technologies and bigger companies.
Right.
Just like any other industry. All of these technologies are trying to get bought by bigger companies. And so
That's a good point.
yeah. So on the AI side of things, what I've noticed is where I have tried to focus is how can I use AI to interact better with my people? How can I write more engaging letters? How can I use AI to help me figure out who in my database might be looking for my help and hasn't raised their hand yet?
Nice.
Who can I reach out to more effectively based on these systems that I'm implementing? So it's easy, I think, to get, from a marketing standpoint, to get in a position where you are using these technologies to kind of hide behind them so you're not interacting directly with people.
Right.
A facsimile of you is interacting with people.
Yeah.
And that's not for me, who has built my business on relationships.
Yeah.
It's built my business on repeat clients, on referrals, on my network, on doing right by my friends and family. Hiding behind AI and people hearing from me in a facsimile way of me, or a digital, version of me, or like a digital voice. It's not fun for me.
Yeah.
Because
It
I
goes
don't
back to
interact with people.
transactional versus relational.
Totally.
But
And so
leveraging it to be more relational.
Yep.
I like that.
yeah, and that's it. And so I think all of us in this wave of AI that's coming has to kind of pick our lane.
Yeah.
If you're a leads-based person, there are technologies there that are like, hey, it can amplify my voice without it actually being my voice. I'm just churning through numbers and trying to get someone to raise their hand. That's one thing.
Maybe their conversion goes up because they're leveraging AI,
Right.
booking bot kind of deal.
Yep. So I think marketing, AI is, one, important, and two, It's trying to pick our poison. What version of AI do we want? And how can we implement it? And how can we benefit? And how can our clients benefit?
Yeah.
And especially guys like our age.
Yes.
If we're not jumping on the AI train, and if we are not adapting to this new world, we will literally be left behind by the 20-year-olds. Fast, really fast.
Yeah. So do you know the main differences between the $20 a month to the $200 a month? Like, are there some big
You know what?
things?
It changes. One of the things that when I bought the $200 a month version, they had this thing called Operator. Operator could go in. I could tell it to go to log into my Google AdWords account and set up ads for me, and it would move the cursor around and do it. Oh. I would tell it what to do, and it would do it. Now, they built in kind of some protection, so like if I started doing something else on a different screen, if I wasn't watching it, it would stop. So it was like, it didn't want AI to be fully autonomous. Like, we have to stay on the screen and watch it.
Yeah.
But I could run Google ads through it. I could set up Meta ads through it. And then they did away with Operator and keep launching new technology. So I think we get access to betas.
Okay.
And then the ability for us to project-based things. Like if I have a huge project that's going to take a lot of bandwidth, like I'm having it dig deep on data, it prioritizes my data and doesn't throttle it as much as some others. Like kind of unlimited. I have not experienced a time where like, have you done the voice thing on ChatGPT where you can just have a conversation?
Yes.
On the lower levels, it'll throttle it, or it'll say, "Hey, you're running out of time."
Yep.
With mine, like if I wanted to just have it open all day, it's like an AI assistant. Hey, what do you think of this? Should I write a letter about that? What about a blog post on this? Can you draft it for me?
It's like high-level assistant.
Yeah, and it's really cool. So I did ask it recently. I'm like, hey, based on how I'm using you, would it make sense to go down to the $20 version? Now, it's probably got a bias built into it. But it was like, hey, probably not. You might be able to get away with it. But it listed all these reasons why.
That you've been utilizing.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, cool. We'll just keep rolling with it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, other than that, are there any other specific AI or white label tools that you've been using?
I implemented, I implemented probably 5 or 6 and then got rid of them. One was called Magix, which was an AI based ad creation platform. And again, I ran it through ChatGPT. I'd heard about it at one of these conferences and was like, hey, can this, with my tech stack and with how I run my platforms, can this work for me? And ChatGPT was like, yeah, and here's how we can integrate it. Now, essentially what it tries to do is create ads in a more simple form. So like you really have to know the Google ad platform. You really have to know the Meta ad platform. This was supposed to be more plug and play, but it was too wonky for me. What I found though, and what's very interesting that I think is going to unfortunately put a lot of digital ad folks out of business is the fact that their pricing scheme compared to these types of technologies doesn't make a ton of sense. Typically with an ad agency, if I'm hiring an agency to run digital ads for me, there's going to be a minimum monthly spend, and then they charge me a percentage of my ad spend.
Oh.
And so it doesn't make sense. It's like, wait, okay, so
usually I'm like I see like here's my flat fee to manage everything, and then you just pay for your ad spend.
Yeah.
But you're paying a flat fee to hire them like an employee.
Yeah.
And then
a percentage of ad spend.
They want a percentage of the ad spend?
Yeah, which doesn't make sense.
Why?
Exactly.
It's
and
the
that's
same
the
ad.
question.
I'm just saying put more dollars on it.
Put more dollars in it. So if you create an ad for me and I spend $50 a day on it, or you create an ad for me and I spend $500 a day on it, your level of work is the same, but they're charging a percentage of it. So there's structure, and that's a newer structure that I've seen over the last couple of years, and I'm like, I can't make sense of it.
That's like a scam.
And it is 100% pricing them out of business. And then guys like me who don't have these unlimited budgets are faced with a couple things. One, can I self-run these? Two, can I co-opt some AI to do it? Or three, can I find someone offshore to potentially do this at a high level and cost me significantly less money? And I've done all of those.
What do you like the best?
I like, so far, I've not found like a self-help AI thing that is simple enough for me to run. So I think there's a hybrid, right? So one of my folks that works with me is based in the Philippines. And she's with me 40 plus hours a week. and she cost me a quarter of what a US based employee would cost. And she's very good at digital ads. And I found out through trial and error that she loves the tech stuff. So
Perfect.
So kind of shifting roles within my business and going, hey, you're really good at this. So let's play to your strengths, and let's take a couple of these things away and give it to someone else. Has been like a fun way for me to tinker in my business and create efficiencies.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, when you talked about going through and kind of mining the data of your past clients, what does that look like as you use that in chat?
Yeah. So chat can interact with that, but I'm actually picking up there's a company that I was introduced to that is an operational. They essentially are kind of like a fractional like CMO. And specifically for real estate agents. And so what they are doing is they are vetting a bunch of technologies and then saying, okay, how do you run your business and where can these technologies plug in? And we will build a platform for you. And you can pick up the phone anytime and go, hey, I'd like to do this. Can we do it? Hey, I found this piece of technology. Will it work for me? So one of the pieces of technology that I'm going to replace HomeBot with is Fellow.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, and I've talked to a number of agents in my group at EXP who I know have used Fellow. Two of the three are like, man, I gave up on it. And I think one of them gave up relatively quickly. One of them gave it a full year run, and was like, it wasn't really for me. And then one of them was like, I like challenged myself to double down on it. And then it started working really well. But with this company that I'm gonna work with, I mean, literally, I had my third meeting with them yesterday, and was like, let's go. They are going to take Fellow, and they're going to layer on a kind of an AI system that is coming out, and they are going to start making sure that when Fellow starts going, hey, these three people are really active, they're going to make sure that either the AI bot is interacting with them, or that I'm alerted through an interconnection with Follow Up Boss. So I'm moving my CRM to Follow Up Boss, and so they're layering Follow Up Boss with Fellow, and Fellow with this AI system, which is really cool. It'll actually make calls if you wanted to. So like speed to lead with this AI system. You have a client and they played a call for me, and I was super skeptical because I'm so relational based.
Right.
They played one of these calls, and it was and it's a great female voice, and someone had interacted on the website with a listing. And it called and said, let's just pretend it's me. Hey, this is Trevor Halpern's AI bot, AI assistant. We saw that you were looking at 123 Main Street. Can I provide more information for you?
Oh, I like that they just call it out.
They just call it. Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Right.
Clarity.
Not
And I'm
trying
like,
to
I
fake it
like
out.
that a lot.
Yep, that's good.
I don't want people to be faked. At first, I'm like, my clients are going to do one of two things. They're going to go, why didn't Trev just call me?
Right.
Like, dude, why didn't you just call? You had a robot call me? Or they're going to be like, dude, that was really cool.
This is cool.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I think with the transparency, hopefully it's not the first part. Maybe it will be. Yeah. But the way it provided information was amazing. And I think people will really appreciate it. It creates, one, it provides them the answers that they want. And two, it creates action and gives them right now actionability. And three, when they really want action, it tries to connect them directly with me.
Right.
So what was cool, it was like, I'm his AI assistant, 123 Main Street, blah, blah, blah. Can I provide any more information? The guy's like, actually, is it on the second story or the first? It's like, it's a first story unit. There is a unit above it. And he's like, well, it's really important for me to have like enough yard space for my dog. What can you tell me about the yard? She's like, actually, it's a sizable, for a patio home, it's a really nice size. It appears to be about this size, da, 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 da. And it was interacting at a very high level. And I'm like, dude, if I'd made that call, I wouldn't have even known that.
Right. I have to look that up and get back to you.
Exactly. Let me call the agent, da, da, da. And it was like analyzing the MLS and the information and the photos. And it knew and was able to answer and analyze the data faster than I could. And by the end of the call, it was like, so do you want to go look at it? And he's like, yeah, I would be interested in seeing it. Okay, cool. You want me to connect you with Trevor? Yeah, that'd be awesome. And then
Nice.
the bot will call me and go, "Hey, I've got Greg on the line.
Wow.
He's looking at 123 Main
Transfer
Street.
call.
Yeah, here's what we discussed. Are you available to take the call? And if I'm not, it'll say, "Hey, I tried him. He's not available. I've got a message into him. He'll call you." Right?
Wow.
So value to customer, speed to lead, so I'm not missing anything. Transparency, actionability. Right. And I think those are some keys of moving into the future with AI. And as people are getting more comfortable interacting with AI systems, I think that call maybe now will be like, dude, why didn't you just call me? To like, of course you didn't call me. Why would you? I just got the great information I needed without having to bother you.
Exactly.
And then when I wanted to create actionability, you were there for me.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm very interested.
When's that launching?
We've got our onboard Friday.
Oh, killer.
So it'll be me. It'll be my virtual assistant, who's in the Philippines, who's high tech and knows all my systems, and that company. And we're going to get on and we're going to figure out what's the best way to migrate my current CRM to Follow Up Boss. How can we do it? How can we make sure the tags on my clients are brought over?
Yep.
And I'll have a website built within 30 days that will then start, working with Fellow and interacting with Fellow and Follow Up Boss and this AI system, and then we'll see how it goes. But again, like these are all investments that I'm making to try to make sure that I'm on the forefront of this stuff, not getting left behind, providing value to my clients and creating efficiency for me. And if I'm not doing it, what am I going to do? Because I'll stay in my lane. And like nothing wrong with my lane, but my lane's going to get stagnant, and my lane will only be the people that I've come into the world with that are used to operating in a certain way. And I'm not going to be able to grow my business or grow my efficiency.
And the up and comers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They will outmaneuver me. So
what is the, I've heard of Fellow.
Yeah.
I've heard good things.
Yeah.
But I don't know, how does it compare to HomeBot? Is it the similar like Financial Digest and Market Report?
Yeah. Interestingly, my assistant was doing a Fellow demo when I was on a call with these guys and they were talking about Fellow. I'm like, no joke. We're vetting it right now. And so what I think it does is, where HomeBot will send a digest that's specific to your address and go, hey, looks like your automated value is somewhere here. You've got this much equity. Here's some actionability that you can take. And when they're clicking things, you're getting notified as the lender. I'm getting notified as the agent. It doesn't necessarily look at their behaviors and go, hey, this person not only wanted a CMA on their property, but they are indicating through their other digital activity that they are interested in potentially buying or selling. So Fellow, when I plug my database in, and this is creepy to all my people that are going to watch this, but everyone knows that big data is already getting their information. So Fellow will go and just start analyzing their behavior. So as they're interacting with Fellow, Fellow will go and be able to see what else they're doing digitally.
Wow.
And we'll kind of score and grade. And so it'll say, hey, these three people seem like they might be interested. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nice.
Right. So it's a deeper level of analytics, which again, I think is going to create, we always have clients who, you ever make that call where you literally, someone just pops in your head and you call them and you go, hey, it's Greg. I was just thinking about you. Just want to say hi. Like, oh my God, your ears must have been burning because we were thinking about doing a refi.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Same with me, but now this is going to be, hey, these three people are indicating that they may be looking to sell. And so I, with honesty, will call them and go, hey, my system is indicating that you might be looking around. Right. What's happening? Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. And so,
which isn't a creepy call anymore.
No, it's not. Everyone knows. Like, there's almost no way to hide. Okay, cool. You run a VPN. Maybe the data isn't going to be as sharp, but VPNs have holes in their. One time your VPN turns off and you don't know, and now your data is being sold and aggregated. So, in this world, everyone knows it happens. So, if it's beneficial and if it's someone you trust calling you and saying, hey, based on what I'm seeing, you might be interested. Maybe they haven't raised their hand, but me calling them, maybe that's they're going, you know what, I'm glad you called. I've been thinking about calling you. That's or like, cool. That's creepy, get out of here. One of the two. But I think to your point, in today's day and age, I don't think that'll be too much of the way it'll go.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Any other systems that you're implementing for the AI?
Trying to think through, I have done a lot of, I've got a little bit of information overload right now. and we're trying to sift through that. And so, and what I mean by that, it's almost like what do they call it? Like message. You're just getting too much messaging, and it's just hard to sift through it. So
overload is a good term.
Yeah,
distraction is like how it starts, and then overload is where it goes.
Right, and then things fall through the cracks. Right, and so the way I'm running my business now, I've taken a couple of larger roles that were like full-time W-2 employees, and I've broken them down into 1099s, into contractors. And I've broken them down into like a 25-hour-a-week person that's really good at certain things, a 10-hour-a-week person that's really good at things, a 40-plus hour a week person that's really good at certain things, a 15-hour-a-month person that's really good at certain things. And so I've taken these big roles, I've broken them down into smaller roles, and I'm allowing people to play to 100% of their strengths, which creates expertise and efficiency.
More fun for them.
Like, hey, focus on what's your superpower?
Yeah.
And then I shift things around based on
like to do.
Yeah. And so through that, the messaging that comes in, the amount of text messages, the amount of calls, the amount of emails, the amount of, we use a system called Monday.com, which is like a workforce operating system. The messages from Monday, everything gets the emails. Everything is so, like, I have to look at so many systems to make sure that I'm getting all the information. I was like, I can't do this. And so
I was just about to ask, like, to use a Slack channel or something like that.
That's bingo. So what we did is, and this is when I was finding the superpower of my assistant in the Philippines, is systems integration. So I was like, we got to bring in like a Slack. We got to like layer something so that emails, everything is going into a siloed something where I have one channel to look at and get all the information I need. And so I'm like, hey, first I start with ChatGPT. It was like, hey, are there systems that can aggregate all of the information that's coming in? What are the rules that I need to set? Hey, please don't text me anymore. I used to have my staff text me all the time with things. And then I'd find that I would leave a lunch and I'd have 62 text messages, and 6 of them were from them. Everything was from everyone else. And by the end of the day, I'm like, oh my God, I missed 3 critical things for my staff. So I'm like, let's not do that anymore. Let's figure out a system that can layer in. And that was Slack interfacing with all of our systems. So like my digital marketing person, we use social. I think she uses Social Pilot. You know, there are a bunch of these programs where they can put together the posts and then say, hey, I need you to review this and change and approve. That goes into a specific channel in Slack. When my marketing people want me to review a postcard that's about to go out, that goes into a specific channel in Slack. And so everything is going into Slack from the disparate systems. And when I click on the channel in Slack, it'll take me to a link to an email in Gmail. It'll take me to a link in Social Pilot.
Okay.
And then furthermore, where I've come to the point where I am now time blocking. And I'm trying to be good about it. Like, I've always been the dude that's been like, you can't tell me what to do, even though it's me.
Dismiss.
Yeah, like, nah, man. It's in my calendar. You're out of here. Later. You can't tell me to look at that. But what I'm doing is I'm taking like the 4 or 5 critical components that I need to look at every week to run my business. And I'm making sure that, let's say on Wednesday, it's business operations and marketing. So when I get into Slack, I'm clicking on my operational stuff. What are we working on operationally, or what do I need to assign? What are these ideas that I've had? What do I want people to work on? Or I'm looking at my marketing tab and getting things through that. So my marketing people know Wednesday is when you should have stuff that you want me to review in there. Finance is Monday. So if my bookkeeper is asking me questions, that they know that Monday I'm going to get to that. So
that's good. Very structured.
Very structured, which is anti-me. It is like I have been anti that structure, but I think future me is going to thank me for implementing that structure, because that structure is going to create efficiency, and that structure is going to create real progress for me. So I'm like week 3 with this, and I've had to start clearing my calendar around those times and making sure I'm not booking things on top. Instead of just seeing through those things in my calendar, I'm like, no, that is like...
It's a non-negotiable.
That's a non-negotiable.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I want to take a time out and say thank you for paying attention. Thanks for listening to the podcast. And Ed, can I ask you a favor? Can you please share the content with other people so we can really grow this thing? This has been a passion project of mine. Really enjoying these interviews. I hope you are too. Please click the share button.
Yeah.
Well, and you think like that also, like you do with your clients, you set the expectations. It sets the expectation with the team to know when they're going to get a reply, when they're going to get a response. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, I'm hearing a lot about the digital aspect. Like, I'm gonna post it in the Slack, and they're sending me stuff to review. Do you ever have where you're like, hey, I'm gonna sit with my marketing person or marketing team, and we're gonna have a Zoom or a Hangout where we're collaborating about stuff, or a big team get together?
Yep. Yeah, and it's interesting you bring that up because that was one of my things. I was crowding my calendar with too many meetings. And so one of the things that I asked one of my assistants to do was, hey, go through my calendar. I want you to put a spreadsheet together of every single meeting that I do a month. And so one of the things that I did during my operational time yesterday, Wednesday, was go through that list and look forward in my calendar, just flat out kill certain meetings and roll certain meetings up. And so like I had a weekly marketing tag in with my 15-hour a month marketing person. And she and I both recognized that was inefficient and not necessary. In the beginning, it was necessary. Like she was figuring out all of my systems and what we were doing.
Lots of questions.
Needing approvals. Now she knows approvals will come on Wednesdays. And so I went through, like I have a monthly meeting with my title rep, who's great. She knows my business. She always has good ideas. She's bringing the forefront of what she's seeing out there to me. My 15-hour a month marketing person and I were traveling to her office once a month for that meeting. And I pinged her yesterday and I said two things. One, can we switch this meeting to digital? I mean, we always like the need and it's nice, but I was taking 20 minutes to drive there and 30 to drive back because of the time of day.
Yep.
And so I'm 50 minutes, let's call it 40 to 50 minutes out of the office. And then in a 1 hour meeting where we felt like, well, we're meeting, so we might as well be here for an hour. And I was like, so can we switch this to digital? And then can we move this to 2 o'clock? And then every month I have my monthly now marketing meeting right after that. So we'll have ideas. So Allie, my 15-hour a month marketing person, I will go on that digital meeting. We'll get some good ideas. And then we're going to flip to our internal meeting, which is me and Allie and Monica, my assistant, and my social media coordinator. And so Allie and I can bring to that meeting, hey, here's some ideas. Like, what do we think about it? And then that monthly hang is digital, an hour a month where we're going, hey, here are new ideas, blah, blah, blah. Let's report. How did things go on social? Where are we not playing well? Where are we playing well? How's the YouTube channel improving? What can we do? What brand synchronicities do we need to create? Are we missing anything? Do we need to do a digital audit? And then we can implement ideas, but in an hour a month. So now it's 2 hours digital once a month, and we're going to set the playbook for the rest of the month from a marketing standpoint.
I love that.
Yeah.
Gosh, you've gotten like super, I don't know, like hyper efficient over the last year or so.
Well, I've gotten hyper efficient because I was absolutely inefficient, and I was leaving my desk every day with a list of things that didn't get done, and it was eating me up. And I knew I wasn't delivering properly for my business. I wasn't delivering, like I mostly delivering on my promises to clients,
Right.
Like maybe I'd miss a deadline by a little bit, but I'd let them know, hey, I'm going to get this to you tomorrow. I said I'd probably get it today. It'll be tomorrow. I hate doing that. I was doing that because I was channel overload.
Yep.
And I couldn't do it. And then oftentimes those are the times, and you've probably seen this in your business, where you go, dude, I don't have time to get things done. How am I going to get things done? And in those times, those pressure points in my business over the year, I'll look at my wife and I'll literally say, time to burn the oil. And that is where I grab my laptop. I sit at the kitchen table after we put the kids to bed, or I go out, if it's nice out, back patio, and just hang out and just think. And if I have a whiteboard. If I've got an iPad, I can sketch things out, and just go, okay, where are these inefficiencies being created, and how can I try to fix it?
It's a great question to ask yourself.
Yeah. And oftentimes you don't. So if you don't, and you're stuck, and you go, I don't have time to fix the problem, then what you resist will persist. and it will fester and it'll get worse and your business is going to drop off and you're going to be a stress ball and you're not going to make more money. You're going to make less and things will just start to fail. And so those little pressure points where I burn a little midnight oil and Beth will always be like, all right, don't stay up too late.
Yeah.
But she knows I'm going to create. And then my team half the time will be like, well, what did you do last night? Because it's just like directives and just changes to their daily forms and like all sorts of stuff that we went through that I went through and created that night to create those efficiencies. But if you don't make the time to fix the problem's just going to get worse. It's going to
keep going. Yeah. And it bleeds into the house.
Like, it does.
You're bringing home work.
Yep.
Not in essence the work, but it's in your head. You're like, man, I didn't get those 3 things done.
Yeah.
Now I'm distracted and not present with my family.
Yep. Or for me too, it's like not getting the things done makes me want to work longer to get the things done. So instead of shutting down, and I've worked from home for the last year and 3 months or so. If I can close the laptop at 5:15, awesome. But now if I'm shutting down at 6:30, I don't get that time with my boys.
Yeah.
I've got a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. I've got my teenage daughters too, and I want to go to their badminton game, and I want to drop them off at volleyball. I want to run around in the front yard with the boys. And if I'm shutting down at 6:30, I can't do that. And if I'm shutting down at 6:30 or 6:45 or 7, and to your point, mentally I'm not shut down. I'm not a good father and I'm not a good businessman.
Yeah. So how many hours do you think you're pulling now? Are you closing it up around 5:15?
I'm getting now with these efficiencies that I'm creating. I think I'm starting to bear fruit on that. More like a 5:15, 5:30.
Nice.
I make sure to run. So like we have our morning huddle with the team at 9:20. Before that, I'm dropping my boys off at school. I'm doing my morning routine to get myself right. So start actively at 9:20 and then done by 5:15, 5:30.
Solid.
Yeah.
Now, is there another hire coming, or you're staffed appropriately at scale for what you want to be doing?
Yeah, I think I'm staffed appropriately.
Okay.
One of the staff members that is the 10 hours a week right now, she has an inactive real estate license and she's going to activate it so that like I can utilize her in the field when I need her. Overflow.
Like showing
assistant. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or like, hey, come with me on a listing appointment. Hey, can you go and pop a key out of this lockbox and put it here? That sort of stuff. And so the 25-hour a week person that I have is my client concierge, but she's working on building her business too. That's part of the role. Let me help you build your business. And when you get up and running and spin off, I'll bring a new client concierge in because that role, you'll burn out.
Right.
12
it's
to 18 months. It's got
to be temporary with a vision.
Exactly. And so my 10-hour week person is going to activate her license so that she can be overflow when I need her. And as I'm looking over the horizon into what Q1, Q2 could potentially provide, I think we're going to be a little bit more buyer heavy than we are right now. Mm-hmm. I'm in a space where I'm like 80% listing side right now. Yeah. Which is abnormal for my business. Normally I'm 50-50, and where I think things are going to go, I'm thinking we're going to be activating more buyers. And so
what makes you say that? Well, I like that, but what do you
exactly. It's good for your biz too.
What are you seeing in the data that shows that?
Well, I think it's more feel than anything, right? I don't all the talk about interest rates over the last 18 months, just wait. We're going to be in 5s. Yeah, it's going to be great. None of that has really come to fruition. But what I think is going to happen is there will come a point where the people who've waited long enough, it's just going to be long enough. We've waited. We've been in this house with 2 kids. We got a 3rd coming.
Yeah.
And like we're jammed at 2. No way it's tenable at 3. Like I think potential buyers don't go away. They sit on the sideline and wait. And I think as that demand is binding, at least in my personal business, I think that demand is going to start flowing and is going to start coming into the marketplace.
Well, I agree. I mean, they've come down, not to where everyone keeps thinking they're going to get to or as fast as they thought so, but you're right. Life just keeps going.
Yeah.
So you're still pent up, not like hostility almost. Like it's like, I've been wanting to move. It's kind of like when someone first starts thinking about getting a car.
Yep.
The longer it goes before they get the car, they just keep getting obsessed about it. Like, why didn't I just get it a month ago?
Right.
Same with the house. It's just a longer term.
Yeah.
And maybe they renewed a lease and they're like, oh, I got 6 more months here. But again, that frustration just keeps going up and up and up with so many people that have just been waiting.
Right. Yeah.
And the same ones that are in their house. They have massive equity. We've been talking to them about, buy before you sell and all these bridge loan products and all this stuff. There's opportunity there. They're like so hesitant, but they're like, man, I still have this small yard and I want to have my family out there.
Yep.
Or look at the weather and I can't go outside because I have the small yard.
Yep.
Or I need to downsize. There's all these things that they've just been settling for when they have the opportunity to go do it.
Yep. Yeah, and that's a great. I mean, and those are the types of conversations that I'm having with people where it's like, well, how long are you going to wait? How, like, you want the big yard, and I get it. You want to make a good financial decision, but like, at what cost to your family?
Right.
How long are you going to, like, your 5-year-old's not going to be 5 forever. You wait too long, he's going to be 10. And if you're waiting until he's 10, he's going to be 15, and then he doesn't want to throw the ball around with dad anymore. Right. And so I always tell people that buying a home is a rare chance where you really get to mix logic and emotion. One can't trump the other. So if you're hyper logical and you're going, well, I'm going to wait until interest rates are at X to activate, if your emotional quotient is lower than your logic, you're not making a good decision. Because where you lay your head, if you want a yard, if you want to finally get that dog, if your kids are growing up and you want the yard, if you really want that pool, like, if you're not paying attention to that emotion, bring it into play, because it's important when you're talking about something like where you live every day.
I've never heard it explained like that. That's really good.
Yeah, thank you. Well, and I talk a lot with clients about logic and emotion, both from sellers and buyers. Sellers, if they get an offer that upsets them, or someone's asking for a repair that upsets them and tweaks them, I always say, yeah, I'd be upset too if I were in your shoes. However, your logic is up to, your emotion is up, your logic is down. And typically I have those conversations. I talk about logic and emotion early in the process, so that when I bring it up mid heat of the battle, they're like, yeah, we did talk about this. So I'm like, hey, sleep on it.
You told me this was going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So sleep on it. Let's get, like, your emotion doesn't necessarily need to come down, but like, let's have your logic balanced with that emotion, because when those two things are balanced, you're in the decision-making zone. Now you can make really good decisions.
With the real good data, I can make a really good decision.
Yeah, exactly. And then buy side, if I walk in to a property with clients, or a man of my client concierge goes and goes, hey, they're super excited about a property. And I'm like, dude, it backs to the 51. Are they sure? Or like, that's a Walgreens.
Where's the logic?
And so we'll start talking about that. Like, hey guys, I know you love that kitchen, and your emotion is here. Let's bring a little logic in, and let's make sure that we know that Walgreens is going to have deliveries at 4 a.m. Are you cool with that? Or I know you just want to go full list price because you want it. Is your emotion overtaking your logic? Or if they're like, well, you know what, the numbers just match up here, like it just makes sense. They're hyper logical. It's like, dude, this is where you're going to lay your head. Like, bring some emotion in. Are you emotional about it? Is there anything that gets you excited about this other than the numbers? Yeah. How does it feel?
Because I don't want buyer's remorse.
Totally. Well, and those engineer clients, and a lot of my attorney clients, it's logic, and it's like pull emotion in, and then they'll either go, oh, cool, that feels weird.
There's
or like
to that.
Yeah, like, wow, there's some okay. Oh, wow, I haven't felt that in a while, or whatever. And then they'll be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Now that my emotion's here, it still makes logical sense, but like, I'm not feeling it. Or if they go, dude, I'm feeling it, and the logic is there, then off to the races.
Done deal, they go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. What are you seeing on the sell side?
Sell side, right now I'm talking the 3 Ps. I talk to almost every client who wants to list their property about price, position, and presentation. So we want to make sure that we're priced well. We want to make sure that we're presenting a really good property, so the product has to be good. And we want to make sure that we're getting it out to the public properly. So those 3 Ps are highly important to make sure. If we miss one of them, let's say we don't price it well, things aren't going to go well. Let's say we don't have it positioned well, we're not marketing it well, things aren't going to go well. And if we don't have a good product that stands out, things aren't going to go well. So to the extent that we can, I get to control one of those. I get to control how we present it, how do we market it, and not just posting it on the MLS and praying, but making sure
Another P.
post and pray. Yeah, double P. So the 5 Ps. Don't post and pray. But I don't post it on the MLS and pray. We have an entire timeline and marketing process that we go through. We're running ads. We're binding demand. We're doing open houses. We're releasing demand into the home in a very controlled manner. I want people walking into the home while people are walking out. I want 50 people through 2 open houses.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want that sociological and psychological effect. And how do we do that? We got to price it right. We got to make sure people look at it and go, it's Goldilocks. I don't want to underprice. I don't want to over. I want people who are drilling down in that neighborhood to look and go, that house looks great.
Yeah.
And create that emotion for the buyer through great media. How do you create great media? You have to have a good product. How do you have a good product? Well, maybe we need to stage it. Maybe we need to paint it. Maybe there are a handful of things that we need to do in this marketplace where we have more sellers than buyers. We need your listing to stand out. And so we need to make sure we're presenting it well.
Yes.
So if we hit those, if we're pricing it, if we're presenting it, and if we have a really good product, and we're doing all of that correctly, your house is going to sell. But I get to control how we're presenting it.
Right.
The seller gets to control the product, and the seller gets to control the price. I can advise them on those 2 things.
Yep.
And if they don't hit on one of those 2 things, then we kind of go into a more traditional listing where maybe we don't sell it in that first weekend or the first handful of days, but I will continue to run my marketing. And the marketing does 2 things. When I'm running ads, I'm providing a service to my sellers. They're seeing what I'm doing. And 2, when I give them their weekly report and I'm looking at all of the data, well, like, why are our Zillow views up and our Google views are down? Why are people not interacting? There's a save and hide function on the MLS that really is instructive for how many saves and hides are we getting? What's the ratio? So I look at all the data in the report. My team aggregates the report and puts it in front of me and goes, here's the data. And here's our templated email that we send every week. And then there's a space where I get to comment to my sellers and go, hey, based on the data, I think we're doing okay. I don't suggest we do anything. Or based on the data, I think it's time for a price adjustment. Or based on the data, I think we need to mix up our marketing mix a little bit and adjust price. And so every week, our clients are seeing what we're doing. They're seeing we're spending ad dollars. They're seeing the number of eyeballs that are seeing the listing. And they're getting a suggestion from me as to what we can do to keep things moving forward.
And the data's driving the decision.
Data's driving the decision.
So it takes out the emotion
Yep.
from it as well. And
Yeah.
it's the, not I told you so, it's the, hey, remember when we first talked and we talked about the P's? Well, here's where that's coming in. The presentation isn't as tight as we thought. That's why I suggested the staging
Yep.
or
Yep.
cleaning up the front yard
Yep.
or, and I know you opposed to it, but this is what the feedback's now coming.
Yep.
And now we need to do a little adjustment.
Well, and that's it. And depending on the adjustment, you may miss the boat. Like I'm in a situation right now, I've got listing paperwork pending with clients, interviewed a bunch of agents. They've verbally committed to me. They've done some great things to their home. It is super cute. They had it listed for 6 months with an agent before. Didn't go anywhere. They did some things after, have improved the home with flooring and a handful of things. And I'm highly encouraging them to stage. I'm like, I know you spent money doing everything, but like to wrap a bow around this thing and create the emotion that we want to create, I highly recommend that you stage the property. And they're like, yeah, we're not going to do that. And
What's
so
the cost for that?
well, exactly. And they
No, I'm asking, like, what do you, like ballpark, what do you think that is?
$2,400 on a
For how
on
long?
a $900,000 listing. So $2,400 for 30 days with a $500 monthly renewal.
And it might get you more offers, probably.
Well,
But
the
also,
idea is hopefully we kick it
but
out.
then I
before,
don't have to reduce your price later
Yeah.
by $10,000 or $20,000. Yeah.
Yep. So it's investment up front. I just had a conversation earlier with a client about painting, and he's like, "We're thin on money. We just bought a property up in Cottonwood that we moved into. Like, I'm buying a business."
Yeah.
He's like, "I did some touch-up paint, myself." And we went in and you could tell it was touched up. And there are a bunch of rooms with different colors. And I'm like, hey, dude, like, I know you're thin, but a fresh coat of paint is going to go a long way. And even though I can't list your home without it and then list it with it, to prove to you that it's going to sell for
Right.
more with it and it's going to sell more quickly, My experience tells me that it will.
Yeah.
And my experience tells me that it will because I'm picking up a lot of people's failed listings.
Right.
Hey, we had it on the
That's a good
market for
point.
90 days and nothing happened. And I'll look, I'm like, hey, like, without saying it very nicely, but it's like, yeah, the pictures were trash. The home doesn't present well digitally. It's not creating emotion, and your agent didn't do anything. I'm not saying all of those things, but I'm coming in with a plan. Well, dude, we need to paint it. We need to clear out some of the dead brush out front. We need to make sure that it presents really well digitally, because that digital, people go to bed at night looking at Zillow.
Right.
And when you're looking at photos, you're like, pop, 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 pop. Like
It's got to be an attention grabber.
it has to be like, pop, pop, pop. Whoa. Like you have to slow them down. You have to do something. And vacant homes don't create emotion.
No.
Homes that look like they've been lived in do not create emotion. Vacant homes that have holes in the wall do not create emotion. Bad photos don't create emotion. Lack of video doesn't create emotion. I don't do videos for every listing, but for a certain price threshold, I do them. And for a certain type of property, I do them. $400,000 listing, if I spend $1,000 on a video, it starts really taking away at my net.
Right.
It just, from a business decision, it doesn't make a bunch of sense, but we can make that $400,000 listing pop in a bunch of other ways.
Right.
But if you take a listing that wasn't performing and you just you put a code on it,
those little tweaks.
just little tweaks, just present it. You want people to pause. You want people to go, whoa. And what I want people to do, buyers to do, is kind of what I said earlier. Go, man, that home looks great, and it's priced well, and it's right in the neighborhood we want, and they're having an open house on Saturday. Like, we got to go.
You're filling it up.
Fill it up.
Yeah.
I had my last listing that we launched 2 weekends ago. We had 26 people, 25. Mom was one that came through. One of the seller's mom. Yeah. I'm like, you're a plant, you're a spy. She was literally the last person to come through. But so take her out. We had 25 people through day one. We had 34 people through day two.
Wow. What was that price point?
That was $875.
Dang.
Multiple offers, full list price,
Solid.
like day two.
Wow. Hit all the P's.
Hit all the P's. And it's a home that that you could do some stuff to. But because we had it staged and painted, people are like, okay, maybe I don't like the tile, but like we can just do that later.
Yes.
Because they're looking at how they can live in it right now.
I know. It's so hard to see when it's empty.
It is.
Some people have that. Like, you could go into something empty, and because you do it for a living. A designer could go in and do that.
Yep.
But like, I go in and I'm like, where are we gonna put the cat? And then the emotion's not there for me. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense.
Totally. Well, and that's what I find. And this is just kind of like finger in the wind. When I'm out with clients, 70% of people are like you. And honestly, it's hard for me to envision it. My experience allows me to envision it a little bit. But 70% of people will walk into a vacant home or flip through photos of a vacant home and not be able to like figure it out. And so they just move on. So again, creating that emotion is what is going to get that buyer in there initially.
Yeah. That's such a good point.
And a lot of agents, listen, not belittling agents out there, but a lot of agents, a lot of the agent body that is active right now, this is the first time in their careers where they haven't just put a sign in the yard and it's sold. And they don't know what to do. The playbook that I'm running is a playbook that I ran 7, 8, 9 years ago. And I literally pulled it off the shelf, dusted it off, improved it, and now it's working.
Yes.
But you got to get a little creative, and you have to be able to take some risks and invest and be able to have those discussions with clients. Like the first time I was running this playbook, I'm like, listen, I've done this in the past, and I know I'm asking you to invest, but I think it's going to work really well. Like, will you go with me on this journey? And
it's working.
And it's working. And now then I have that one to point to and go, hey, I did this.
There you go.
I had a slew of 3 listings, like boom, 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 that were failed listings. People call me and go, one of them was classic. I mean, they were like, hey, we should have called you. We didn't. And we've had it on the market for 90 days. Like, it's a friend of ours who's like our dog sitter, and she was giving us a discount, and it's just that nothing's happening. And so we want to move along from her and talk to you about it. So that was the third in a row like that. And I'm like, oh, this is a trend. And 3 in a row, boom, 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 got them sold. Essentially, like the average days on market that all 3 of those had was combined like 120 days if you average them. And then when I hit the market, it averaged to 5.5 days, 6 days.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it
That's
wasn't
a great stat.
And right. And it wasn't flooring the price. One of them, we relisted at the exact same price. One of them, we adjusted a pretty good chunk downward. I mean, not like, oh my God, it's a third off, but like, hey, we got to get it in this range. So that was part of it.
Drive demand.
Yes. But I had a buyer walk into one of my open houses and she's just like, I came through here previously and I could not envision this house. And she's just like, now I see it. She didn't end up offering, but she gave me the data point to go, bingo, like this is exactly what we were looking for.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right, last question.
Yeah.
What's one thing that you're really going to work on or add or do for 2026? Any big goals yet?
You know, the way that I have been setting goals is more feel and more how is it benefiting my family? Like, how is the business? How is what I'm doing ingratiating my life?
Okay.
And so this year I'll still work on that goal. But I think what I want to make sure that I'm doing is more interpersonal interactions. Again, the ability to hide behind digital stuff and the ability to go, well, my people are hearing from me because they're getting a postcard in the mailbox. It's not good enough. And it doesn't feel good enough for me. Picking up the phone, shooting a text, sending them a video. Hey, just thinking about you. Just wanted to say hi.
I like that.
That is like absolutely top of my list, is to get back to interacting with my people as opposed to faking it through marketing.
I love that. Simplify and reconnect.
Yeah. And the simplification creates the time to allow me to reconnect.
Yes.
Because you know how it is. You can call someone, just say hi, and 30 minutes later, you're still on the phone with them, which is great.
Right. Yeah.
Because you're like having a really good conversation, and you're having fun and whatever. Then you hang up, and you have 32 text messages.
Because if you're not simplified, you're just going to overcomplicate.
Exactly. So simplification is going to lead to deeper connection.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thanks for coming in for
Thanks
round
for having
two.
me, man.
This
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Always
brother.
good to see you. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Congrats for making it to the end. You're part of the 1%ers, the 1%ers that actually finish podcasts. Now, I'm just going to ask a favor. Who else would you like to see on here? What other content would you like to see? What kind of questions you want me to be asking? What would you like to see in future podcast episodes? Drop a comment down below or shoot me a message on whatever platform you're seeing this on.